Hi Shen.
Hi,
Thank you for helping my project.
it's my pleasure.
So can you say a little bit about yourself?
So I am a PhD student currently studying in University College London. I need to look at camera or you.
Oh, but whichever you prefer.
Okay. So I'm doing my PhD in Information Communication Engineering.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. What kind of things do you study?
So basically, I'm doing. Do you know 5G?
5G. Oh, okay. So
Yes.
this is like engineering.
Yes, well as
Okay.
communication engineering. And what I'm doing is basically signal design, system optimization for physical layer communication systems.
Oh, wow. So you're down there at the low level about
Yeah.
packet switching, time
Even
sharing,
even lower, like,
like-
signal
like
the physical-
modulation and the
Yes,
actual,
modulations.
kind of like what are the actual electromagnetic waves, like the
encoding, decoding,
Wow.
modulation, demodulation, things
yeah,
like
and
that.
spectrum shifting or jumping,
yes, yes, filtering, yeah,
Wow.
all these things.
and then I guess avoiding multiple transmitters conflicting with each other at the same time, and how to do the time and stuff.
Yes.
Wow, and that's like such a big field,
Yes, it's a quite complicated research area.
with I guess about 7-8 billion cell phones out there,
Yeah, maybe more.
maybe more.
Yeah.
Because I think I've been through like maybe 6 or 7 cell phones in my life, and I probably still have 5 of them just sitting in drawers.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe, and then we all have like laptops and
Yes. And
Did-
now we all connect to Wi-Fi.
right,
That is part of the big invention of 4G.
and then those little things like the squares that you put on things to, like find them. So it's like a really
Yeah.
busy,
Yeah, exactly.
kind of amazing. What got you into that? Why did you decide to study communication
I
engineering?
guess I was quite good at math and science, and then I found quite fun to do all this sorts of study. Yeah.
Do you work much with like the actual hardware equipment itself?
So my work is kind of like half software based. So I code a lot, do simulations, modeling, and then I do experimental work to kind of implement my design systems and signals, and to verify if they are better performance or not.
Wow, so like software-based radios, that would be like a
Yes,
big thing.
yes.
I actually got one of those. It's kind of neat, just to think I can, like focus on any type of spectrum range or particular spectrum, and then run it through like a decoder, and it could be like TV or
Yes, yes.
beeper or walkie-talkie or ham
yes.
radio. It's just like
Now it's more and more convenient for people to get devices like that, especially also if you know about Internet of Things. Now everything has been connected,
yes.
and then we have the smart city, smart home, all these sorts of devices try to connect to each other, collect information, state analysis, and then give you the best user experience.
That's awesome. I can't wait to use some of the results of your work.
Thank you.
So did you know that NASA is planning to send astronauts back to the moon again?
Yeah, I just heard it from you. Yes.
So the last time we had astronauts walking on the moon was in 1972, 50
Okay.
years ago. I
I didn't
mean,
know that.
yeah,
I visited NASA. I thought they still have this kind of plan to send people to.
they do, but it won't be until like 2025.
Okay.
So, and that's assuming that they stay on schedule, so it might be later than that.
Okay.
Incidentally, China had talked about sending people to the moon in like 2035.
Yeah,
And-
I kind of read news about that, but I'm not sure if it is something that I think they are doing it. Yeah.
Well, recently they also said that they could move it up and might be able to do as early as like 2027.
Oh, really?
So you might actually see those two time scales overlap.
Okay.
So it might be kind of neat. Oh, so what do you think about people going to the moon?
Well, it really depends on which aspect you are asking about. I mean, the general idea is quite, well, from my perspective, it's quite romantic, like human beings go to the moon. And also, we've been succeed for many times. But the question for me is, what is the main purpose? Why people want to do that, and what are they going to do afterwards? After sending people to the moon, what are they going to build on the moon? What is the next plan?
Well, I keep thinking about this myself because I'm interested in space, and I have come to the thought that the value of sending people to the moon may be limited or completely directed by your view on the future of humanity. Like, for example, if you believe that humans are meant to spread out into the rest of the universe, the moon seems like a logical step. But if you don't believe that, going to the moon seems like just some type of, rich person's trip type thing.
Yeah, I know. I heard about this kind of debate lots of times. Like people asking, there are still so many children starving in African countries. Why we spend so much money on exploring the moon rather than focus on the current problems?
Right.
Yeah, that's always a quite big debate.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first time I went to the moon, there were people in the United States that didn't even have running water or electricity. And so, the debate was even kind of sharper back then, and now pretty much everybody has water and electricity, but still there's so many problems. But I'm curious in your thoughts, and where do you see humanity in the future? Are we the traveler of stars and spreading life throughout the universe? Or do you think humanity is really just limited to the Earth, and we're just making these little bitty kind of picnic trips to places?
Okay, actually I've never thought about that before. Do you really think how to say that, the space matters? So what difference it is between just a human just stay on the Earth, or they kind of travel to different planets in the universe? What's the difference?
Yeah, so I guess
I try to understand the question itself.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of depends upon the timescales you think humanity should exist for. Because at some point our sun will, gobble up the Earth, and then, that'd be the end of all life on Earth. And if we haven't figured out how to transport some of that life to another star system, then that will be the end of all life that we know about.
Okay.
And then the other way I think of looking at the question is the Earth is so small compared to the solar system.
Okay.
And the solar system is so small compared to the galaxy.
Yeah.
And the galaxy is so small to the universe that if you look at it if you add up all those not small things, the Earth is not even an atom. It's not even an electron,
Yes.
Compared to the universe, in terms of and so what is the purpose of the universe if we're not there to explore it?
Okay. Yeah, I kind of understand. Well, that's a very hard question. At least for me, I feel because human beings have very limited time of life, so it's very hard, and it takes generations and generations to make a tiny step. And I'm not even sure if technology can be that fast to develop, to make things happen before the solar goes to the end. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing to think about how much has changed in the past 120 years. In 1900, there were 0 commercial airline passengers. And just this past year, I think there's been 1 billion airline passengers.
Okay.
And so that's just in 120 years we've gone.
You feel these things kind of increased exponentially, and it won't take that much time to go to that stage.
Well, maybe. If you look at the previous thousands of years, technology grew so slowly, and then expanded so quickly. That the natural state of things is for them not to change that quickly. It's like really kind of a recent thing. So, do we have what it takes to continue expanding? Are we losing what it takes, and then we'll actually end up contracting, and we'll all be back in huts making fires, trying to grow or hunting animals.
Okay. That's quite interesting. I'm not very positive about that. I feel like technology goes to an age that is not as fastly developed as like the past 100 years. Well, or maybe it's because I am just standing in the middle of the timeline, and then I cannot feel how fast it is. Maybe after 20, 30 years, if I look back, it is actually in a very fast speed. I never know.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the iPhone, 12 years ago, nobody had an iPhone?
Yeah.
And now everybody has one?
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of interesting.
Quite a lot of potentials.
So if it was safe and affordable, would you take a trip to space?
Yeah, if that is possible, why not?
How far would you go? Just to Earth orbit? Would you go to the moon?
Well, as far as possible.
You would immigrate to Mars?
Yeah, why not?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so imagine this. 200 years from now,
Yeah.
you're a great, I'm not sure how many greats it takes to get to 200 years, but this grandchild is so great. It's unbelievable.
Okay.
But she's on Mars, and she's in high school, and just like kids today might take history and do a paper about 200 years ago, 1820s. She's in 22, doing a project about the 2020s, this decade that you and I are living in. What is your hope that happens in this decade that is worth remembering in 200 years from now?
Well, there is one thing I actually started to think about a long time ago, is the way people record things changes through generations. So maybe we don't even know how they record their information, how they learn from. Are they still use paper books? Are they use those electrical screens, or they use some other medias? We don't know. So at least I think I guess it's quite important for them to know what exactly happened at this in this time, because although now we have so many different things that can record information, I still doubt that this can be kept to that time.
Oh, you're not sure this recording will actually survive that long?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you think back, 200 years ago, there
Yes.
might be something, and then because people they have different opinions, or they have different ways to present things, and then this information can be mislead.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So
what
they
I
may
mean.
not understand what we say.
Yeah.
And they use their current language
Yes.
to interpret what we're saying, and they completely misunderstand it.
Yeah, even if you think about the language people use now is very different from how people talk 50 years ago.
Absolutely. Or even yesterday.
Yeah.
We had every morning you don't receive a newspaper, receive a dictionary. So do you know
yes,
what the language
yes.
is for today?
Yeah. Oh, that's quite deep.
So I see this as a recording for generations not even born yet. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you would like them to know about?
Do I think that's the only thing. I hope maybe they can find their own way to find out the truth.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jen. I really
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.